अगर आप कोई ट्रिप प्लान करें और वो वैसी ना जाए जैसी आपने सोची है, तो आपको कैसा लगेगा? एग्जैक्टली वैसा ही अर्जुन को लगा। आज लर्न इंग्लिश थ्रू स्टोरी की इस सीरीज में एक नई स्टोरी लेके मैं आई हूँ, जिसका टाइटल है द अनलाइकली जर्नी ऑफ अर्जुन, अ रोड ट्रिप टू रिमेम्बर। तो ये बड़ी मजेदार कहानी है, बट आपको केवल स्टोरी एंजॉय ही नहीं करनी है, मगर आपको उस पर ध्यान भी देना है, उसके डिटेल्स पे, क्योंकि एज यू नो आफ्टर द एंड ऑफ द स्टोरी आई विल बी आस्किंग सम क्वेश्चंस टू यू व्हिच यू नीड टू आंसर इन द कमेंट बॉक्स, राइट? तो चलिए हम अपनी स्टोरी को बगैर किसी डिले के स्टार्ट करते हैं। Hey everyone, my name is Sonika and I'm your learning buddy. तो चलिए हम स्टोरी स्टार्ट करेंगे। हम बी वेरी अटेंटिव। Arjun was exhausted. After weeks of back-to-back meetings, deadlines, and late-night work sessions, he was ready to escape the monotony of his corporate job. Life in Mumbai had become a never-ending cycle of commuting, sitting at a desk, and watching the days blur together. Arjun needed a break, something different, something adventurous. He glanced at his phone, where a notification blinked, reminding him of an upcoming meeting. He groaned. His best friend, Sameer, had been trying to convince him for weeks to take a road trip. Sameer was a free spirit, someone who lived life at his own pace, without worrying about jobs, deadlines, or promotions. He and Arjun had been friends since college, but their lives had gone in completely different directions after graduation. While Arjun had pursued a stable corporate career, Sameer had dived into photography and traveling, living a nomadic lifestyle that seemed impossibly free to Arjun. You need this trip, yaar, Sameer had said the last time they met. Just 2 days away from everything. We'll drive down to Goa, chill by the beach, eat some seafood, and come back refreshed. What's the point of making money if you don't take the time to enjoy it? At first, Arjun had dismissed the idea. Goa? That sounds too cliche, too crowded. Everyone he knew went to Goa for vacations. But the more he thought about it, the more it seemed appealing. The idea of a long drive along the Konkan coast with the sea on one side and the lush green hills on the other made his heart beat a little faster. Maybe Sameer was right. Maybe it was time to switch off and unwind for a bit. One evening, while sitting at his desk and staring blankly at his computer screen, Arjun made up his mind. He quickly dialed Sameer's number. Sameer, he said without reading, we are going to Goa this weekend. Pack your bags. Sameer's whoop of joy on the other end made Arjun smile for the first time that week. The plan was set. They would leave early on Saturday morning, taking Sameer's trusty old Maruti Suzuki Swift, and head south for a weekend adventure. Saturday morning arrived, and Arjun found himself at Sameer's doorstep, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. It had been years since he had done something spontaneous like this. Sameer, on the other hand, was his usual energetic self, already packed and ready to go, wearing his sunglasses at 6 a.m. Let's hit the road through, he said, tossing the keys to Arjun. The drive started smoothly. The morning sun cast a warm, golden hue over the city as they drove out of Mumbai. Arjun was in charge of driving while Sameer fiddled with the music, playing an upbeat playlist that matched their mood. They cruised along the Mumbai-Pune expressway, chatting about old memories, laughing at shared jokes, and feeling that familiar bond that only lifelong friends share. A few hours into the drive, after a quick breakfast stop at a dhaba, they reached the narrow coastal roads that led toward Goa. The landscape had completely changed. The towering buildings of the city were replaced by open fields, palm trees swaying in the wind, and the distant glimmer of the sea. Arjun felt his tension slowly melt away as the fresh air hit his face. They had been driving for nearly 5 hours when Samir suggested they take a small detour. There's this little village called Gokan just off the highway. It's supposed to be peaceful, away from all the touristy stuff. Let's check it out. Arjun hesitated for a moment. He wasn't one for unplanned stops, but Samir's enthusiasm was contagious. Alright, let's do it, he said, turning off the main road onto a narrow, winding path that seemed to lead into nowhere. The road was bumpy and the trees thickened around them as they drove deeper into the countryside. Just when Arjun was about to question the decision, they arrived at a small clearing that overlooked a pristine beach. Gokarn was nothing like the crowded beaches of Goa. It was serene, untouched, with only a few fishermen in the distance, their boats bobbing gently in the water. This is incredible, Arjun muttered, stepping out of the car and taking in the view. Sameer, ever the photographer, was already snapping pictures, capturing the beauty of the place. They spent the next few hours walking along the beach, talking about life, dreams, and the choices they had made. Sameer shared stories of his travels, his time trekking in Himachal, photographing wildlife in Ranthambore, and even a wild camping adventure in Ladakh. Arjun listened with a sense of envy and admiration. How did Sameer manage to live so freely without the burden of expectations weighing him down? As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, they decided to head back to the main road and continue this journey to Goa. But just as they were getting into the car, disaster struck. The car wouldn't start. Arjun tried turning the key again, but the engine only sputtered before falling silent. He exchanged a worried glance with Sameer, who looked surprisingly calm. Maybe it's just the battery, Sameer said, getting out to check. But after a few minutes of tinkering, it became clear that they were stuck in the middle of nowhere with no phone signal. Great, Arjun groaned, leaning against the car. Now what? Sameer, still unfazed, grinned. Adventure, remember? Let's see where this goes. Arjun wasn't as optimistic. The nearest village was miles away and it would soon be dark. But with no other options, they grabbed their bags and started walking back along the road, hoping to find help. They walked for nearly an hour before they finally saw a small house at the edge of the road. A dim light flickered inside, and they could hear the distant sound of voices. Relieved, they knocked on the door. An old man opened the door, his face lined with age, but his eyes sharp and curious. Yes, he asked in Kannada, the local language. Samir explained their situation, and the old man listened patiently. After a moment, he nodded. Come inside, he said, switching to broken Hindi. I will see what I can do. Inside the house, they met the old man's family, his wife, who offered them tea, and his two grandchildren, who watched them curiously from the corner of the room. The old man made a few phone calls, speaking quickly in Kannada, and after what felt like an eternity, he turned to them with a smile. A mechanic will come, he said, but it will take some time. Stay here tonight. Arjun was hesitant. Spending the night in a stranger's house in the middle of nowhere wasn't exactly what he had in mind. But Sameer, ever the adventurer, agreed without hesitation. That night, they sat around a small fire outside the house, listening to the old man tell stories of his younger days. He had been a fisherman all his life, traveling up and down the coast, and his tales of the sea were filled with both wonder and danger. Arjun found himself relaxing, enjoying the simplicity of the moment. The stars above them twinkled brightly in the clear night sky, and for the first time in a long time, Arjun felt truly at peace. By the time the mechanic arrived the next morning, Arjun had almost forgotten about their car troubles. They thanked the old man and his family for their hospitality and promised to return one day. The car was quickly fixed and they were back on the road to Goa. As they drove away, Arjun couldn't help but smile. The trip hadn't gone as planned, but maybe that was the point. Life, he realized, wasn't always about sticking to a plan. Sometimes the best memories came from unexpected detours and the kindness of strangers. Samir glanced at him, noticing the change in his mood. Feeling better? He asked. Arjun nodded. Yeah, he said, glancing out of the road ahead. Much better. Who knew a broken car could lead to such an adventure? But that's life, full of surprises. Okay, so that's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed. बहुत मजा आया होगा आपको इस स्टोरी में. हो सकता है कुछ वर्ड्स ऐसे भी हों जो आप उतने ज्यादा फेमिलियर ना हो, बट डोंट वरी, आप कॉन्टेक्स्ट से उनको समझ जाएंगे. और अगर कुछ वर्ड ऐसे हैं भी तो दिस इज अ टास्क फॉर यू टू फाइंड द मीनिंग, राइट? ओके, सो दिस इज क्वेश्चन आंसर टाइम. एज आई टोल्ड यू इन द बिगिनिंग कि मैं कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछूंगी आपसे इस स्टोरी पर और आपको उसका आंसर नीचे कमेंट बॉक्स में देना है. तो लेट्स स्टार्ट. Where did Arjun and Sameer decide to take a road trip? Let me repeat. Where did Arjun and Sameer decide to take a road trip? Second question. What was the name of the small village they detoured to? What was the name of the small village they did word to. Third one, who helped Arjun and Sameer when their car broke down? Who helped Arjun and Sameer when their car broke down? Fourth one, how did Arjun feel by the end of the trip? How did Arjun feel by the end of the trip? Fifth and the last one, what did the old man in the village do for a living? What did the old man in the village do for a living? So, आप इन क्वेश्चंस के आंसर जरूर करिएगा ताकि मुझे पता चल सके कि आप कितना समझ गए इस स्टोरी। आई होप आप पूरा ही समझ गए होंगे, बट स्टिल आई वांट टू सी योर आंसर्स। और प्लीज वन वर्ड के आंसर मत दीजिएगा, पूरा सेंटेंस लिखिएगा ताकि मुझे आपका कॉम्प्रिहेंशन समझ आ जाए। ओके, एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक एंड शेयर, एंड ऑफ कोर्स आप मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लिया होगा, नहीं किया तो जरूर कर लीजिए क्योंकि मैं ऐसे ही मजेदार वीडियोस आगे भी लाती रहूंगी। टिल द नेक्स्ट वीडियो, बाय बाय।